I don't know what God is doing in my relationship department. We haven't like come to that agreement yet. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know anything right now. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This video is not a makeup tutorial. This video is going to be about Tumblr. I dropped my notebook. My notebook took a tumble. This video is going to be about Tumblr. I used to be such a wannabe Tumblr kid / I used to be a Tumblr kid. I was on Tumblr for a long time and I've been off of Tumblr for a long time. I did a lot of growing on Tumblr and I also did a lot of growing off of Tumblr. And I was just sitting and thinking the other day about how much Tumblr like changed my perspective on things and how much my perspective has changed being off of Tumblr. Tumblr is just a social media website. How much could it have really affected you? No. I was on Tumblr, I want to say probably literally 10 to 12 hours a day, like for years. And Tumblr is a community. There's so many influences coming at you. And that definitely molded who I was and molds now who I don't want to be and know that I can be. So it's a process in finding out the things that I need to change that I have been doing for years, and the things that are me and the things that have been implanted into me from the wrong sources. And it's a process. It's a journey of like self-discovery, and it's scary because me wanting to travel into adulthood and wanting to be married eventually and wanting to have a family or whatever, be a mentor for young girls, I have to do soul searching as well and say there are things in me. I have fleshly issues, and being in God, sometimes we can like sugarcoat things and be like, we have Jesus, everything's fine, which essentially like yeah, but also we have to acknowledge the fact that we're human. And we do have human desires and human nature and all that stuff. And so it's a process in learning things about yourself. That's kind of what I did. And I just realized that Tumblr was a big part of my growing up. So I want to talk about how it formed my views of relationships, of self-esteem, of sex, and even of God. So let's jump right into it. Now, I'll probably make like a whole separate video about self-esteem and like my journey in that and blah 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 whatever. But like Tumblr is a whole different ball game because it's like Instagram on crack. Because on Tumblr you post your selfies, but like your selfies have like a broader reach. Because on Instagram somebody just likes your picture most of the time and just leaves it at that. But Tumblr gives you a network to post yourself and allow yourself to get reposted constantly by other people, so that there's this constant validation from people that you'll probably never meet in your life, as I said before. And it kind of gives you this sense of empowerment and entitlement, and you're like, I got so many notes on my picture. There are like a few pictures of me floating around currently that have like thousands of notes. And honestly, when I posted those, I didn't think that they were going to take off like that. But like that boosted my ego. That puffed my head up. And so you have girls who are blocking your pictures and you're like, they're like, oh my God. I had to make sure I was still recording. You have girls who are blogging your pictures and they're like, oh my gosh, she's so pretty. I want her hair. I want her makeup, blah, blah, blah. And you have dudes who are blogging your pictures like, I want to get with her. She's so fine, whatever, whatever, whatever. And we all know that on the internet, you pick the best part of yourself to post. And in real life, it's like, what? You know? And so with that, on Tumblr, self-esteem is like, I look the best. I'm the best. You post a picture when you look good and you feel happy. You post a picture when you feel sad and you feel like you look good, and people boost up your ego. And self-esteem in real life doesn't work that way, because self-esteem has to come from self. If your self-esteem is coming from other people boosting you up, and that solely is your source for identity and self-worth, then what happens when people are silent? What happens when there are people who don't approach people? What happens when there are people who are silent admirers, or if there are no admirers at all? Do you just fall by the wayside and you think you're a pile of crap? That's what I did. That's what I did most of the time. Like, if there's not anybody constantly validating my clothing choices or my makeup choices or my hair choices, if I don't have guys telling me that I look pretty, which recently I almost never get that. Not that I think I'm ugly, but like I think I'm just in a place right now where God knows that I probably can't handle that the best, and that is stemming from these reasons, and that's why I'm doing this like journey of self-discovery. But when your self-esteem comes from others, you're just digging deeper and deeper and not even realizing or not acknowledging how you feel about yourself when the applause dies down. Whew. And so, yeah, Tumblr is a big, like, deep black hole for that, because you're able to get recognized by people you'll never meet, and you're able to get silent admirers when you're feeling down, instead of diving into yourself and, or diving into God, someone who has already given you validation since before you were even born. When you're lying down, he's there. If you make your bed in like the worst situations, he's there. And that's something that I dove into after I deleted my Tumblr. And I guess that's a whole nother video within itself. But self-esteem without a big social media base really has to come from self, and that's still something that I kind of struggle with daily. And I don't know if anyone will ever be perfect in that, because we live in such a saturated moment of social media and technology and selfies and posting. I hope we're just not all screwed, because that would suck really bad. God. And this means like mutual friendships to even like romantic relationships. On Tumblr, most of the people you talk to, you'll probably like never meet in your whole life. And so I know for me, like looking now and how I treat relationships, sometimes I treat people as temporary, and I'm like, it's kind of weird to put effort into friendships, because I'm like, oh, they're only gonna last a couple of months, or it's not gonna be that deep and sentimental. I had a group of friends, like actual physical friends, that I was friends with since like 7th grade, and that's like the longest standing relationship I've had besides like my family, you know what I mean? But like in branching out, meeting other people, and getting more friends, or trying to make more friends, and on the journey to becoming a better friend, I find myself pulling away from people, because having that based on Tumblr of like just sending questions to people and having really superficial relationships and doing that for years, I kind of like carry that over to my real life, and that's not cool. And I only have like one friend that I've never met in real life, and we've been friends for like 6 years. Other than that, those people were basically seen as imaginary, like not real, and so you didn't really have any obligation to keep them. And that definitely has like transferred over to my adult life, and that's something that I really need to be able to grasp, like how to have real relationships, how to communicate with people, how to deal with conflict. Because if you have conflict with somebody on Tumblr, you just like argue back and forth, and you cuss them out a little bit, and you maybe unfollow them and block them, whatever. But real life and real conflicts, like you can't just drop a friend all the time. Like you have to really face things head on. You have to have hard conversations, and I never really dealt with any of that. And so now having to like really deal with relationships in adult life, it's like conflict resolution, what is it? But that's something that I've really realized, and I need to move forward in. And relationships on the romantic side, it's so embarrassing to say that like I've had relationships with multiple people whom I've never met. And like that's so awkward and it makes me feel like such a loser, but it's true. And so me now being in a place where I'm like, I really want a real relationship. It's like a lot of my development happened with people like I didn't even see. So it's like, what? And like, don't get me wrong, I've had real life boyfriends, but like now I wouldn't even consider them real boyfriends, honestly. But like my last boyfriend, I barely saw him. I met him on Tumblr, and this was like 3 years ago. He lived in Kennesaw. Like, what? And we were kids, and he was, God, But relational development is not a good place to like have your teacher be social media. I'll just leave it at that.